Hey guys, what's up? Really excited to be bringing you this video. This is now the level 70 endgame kind of barbarian build guide and overview. We're going to do something a little different this time, which is just jump right into a nightmare dungeon and show the gameplay. And then after that, we're going to do a couple of more mini guides specifically on barbarian specific stats, right? So we just fired up a nightmare dungeon. Hide the whispers. Our nightmare dungeon is here. We're going to hustle over to it. And we are going to see exactly how long it takes us to speed farm a level 25 dungeon at our level, which is, what, 72? So we will definitely be fighting monsters that are higher level than us. I think at level 25, they're going to be like around 80 or so. Okay. This build's all about continuous shouts and high critical strike chance with Whirlwind. Constant shouting and constant critical strikes with Whirlwind. That's what we're about. Free the prisoners. Monster level 79. Let's check back here. Okay, so far the trash mobs are no problem. Let's see how we do against elites. We'll crack Wrath of the Berserker when we fight some elites. Guy should be dead, yep. Let's check around here real quick. Alright, so far nothing but trash mobs. Okay, 2 to go. Okay, should be able to move on to the next zone. So with the expectant aspect, it gives us the core skill, basic skill combo. So we want to, our disciplined attack is to get our shouts up, do 3 attacks, and then whirlwind, and then if we need to use Wrath of the Berserker, we do. Before we had Iron Skin instead of Wrath of the Berserker, and that's when we first entered Torment. We kind of needed the extra survivability, and it also gave us another barrier button, which was nice. Now we're basically so strong that we're killing enemies faster than they can kill us, so we don't really need Iron Skin as much anymore. We're trying to just kill the mobs fast instead. So for example, in that big elite pack right there, just crack Wrath of the Berserker, and then rather than deal with them for a couple of seconds, just kill them fast. Okay, destroy these things. And we're basically looking to figure out at what level can we speed farm, because we're getting to the point now where our gear, while not perfect, we have the affixes that we're prioritizing. So like our gear has CDR, it's got critical strike chance, it's got max fury, it's got movement speed, it's got kind of all of the bells and whistles that we need to have basically what would be near endgame gear. And also we're prioritizing everything over item power 725, which is tier 6 items. So essentially our gear is all tier 6 items, which is the highest tier, with the correct affixes that we need to play Barbarian effectively. So we're at a point where we're going to get diminishing returns from gearing, which means the Helltide farming is less important for us in terms of gaining power. It's always going to be important in terms of gaining resource to farm the Helltides, but in terms of gaining power, we've hit diminishing returns there. And then our next major source of power is going to be in the Paragon board, which is going to require us to power level, and then also in leveling the glyphs, which is going to be our long-term scaling. So glyphs kind of have two things going for them. They have the bonus that you have to empower by socketing correctly and getting the complementary nodes to power the glyph. And then also they have long-term scaling from leveling the glyphs. We'll talk about Paragon boards and things like that and important stats and such in a later video. But basically, we're at a point where we're using all of the game's mechanics to be powerful, and what that's going to leave us with is the remaining activities are going to be related to reaching the pinnacle content. And to reach the pinnacle content, we need to speed farm, which is why we chose Whirlwind in the first place. Whirlwind is the speed farming barbarian build. What did we get there? Is that the chest we've been looking? Oh, that's the gloves. No, Fist of Fates. No, dang. We want the Gore's wraps, which are for the Whirlwind specific. That's too bad. But this is why we're doing the dungeons, because you have the higher chance of dropping the high-level uniques in the dungeons. As well as, like I was saying, it's the primary source of power going forward. So that's basically the reason to do these in-dungeon events, is to get the chest, which is going to give you a high chance for the uniques. But the shout playstyle for barbarians is very smooth. We have another massive power spike that we can do, which is our capstone passive. We can get a huge damage multiplier. Basically, our biggest damage multiplier can come from our, the Unrelenting Fury capstone passive, which we'll explore as soon as we're done getting the last glyph that we need in our Paragon board, which will be the last piece of the puzzle of fixing our Fury management. And then from there, we'll switch into the max damage variant. But, you know, we're just killing and chilling. Spin to win. Love it. There's an ancestral ring. So we're definitely ready for the next tier of dungeon. We're also at a point where we can just hork these gems to the side. Okay, but even now we need to town portal to take care of this. So we'll go to Kilvashed. And basically we're just going to thin our bag out. We're going to... The choice is either salvage or sell our yellows, whether we need veiled crystals or cash. So we can take a quick assessment of that, right? So like at 45 veiled crystals and 1.2 million gold, we could kind of go either way. Let's just use the shop and get back into it quick. So we just instantly sell the blues. And then we're looking at item power. So anything under 700 is just a sell. If it's under 700, we don't even think about it, we sell it. And that just goes for the yellows. We're saving the rare, we're saving the legendaries because we have to evaluate their aspects, but we'll do that separately. We're just looking at yellows, and if the yellow is under 700, we sell it. Okay, our bag is thinned out, back in the dungeon. Barely wasted any time. We don't really need to pick up gems anymore because our gear is kind of gemmed out, and if for some reason we actually needed gems, we could get a ton of them in the Helltide. Alright, just killing these eyes. Here it is. 2, 3. Blow all this crap up. Dungeon's completed. Just finish killing some of this stuff. Okay, and then the real reason that we're in the dungeon is to level up our glyphs. So we're trying to get exploit to 15 so that its radius increases, which will fully empower the glyph, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to build our Paragon board, emphasizing glyphs and glyph sockets that we need, and then getting all those glyphs up to 15, and that will be our long-term source of power, is gaining levels, which is giving us Paragon points, and grinding Nightmare Dungeons, which we are using to level up our glyphs to level 15. And then we also need to finish gaining our Paragon points from World Renown. And that'll be our long-term source of power. That'll get us to 100 and get us to the pinnacle content. Now, once we're in these Nightmare Dungeons and the monster level starts going over 100, right? So around dungeon tier, Nightmare Dungeon tier 50, the monsters will suddenly be over level 100. And then at that moment, we are switching from speed farming to pushing. But to get to our level 100, we want to do that via speed farming. And that's our whole plan for how we're playing the game going forward. So you can see here that it's going to take us basically 4 dungeons to get this glyph to the next level, level 13. So that's why we're kind of focused on how fast we can do these things. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. We're going to do some more videos where we focus on stat priorities. But I wanted to finally get to some gameplay and get out of, you know... like the how to play and build. Basically, before we were talking about how to build, and now we're going to talk about, now that we're in endgame and we're fully geared out, how to progress, right? So we'll talk about stats in the next one. Thanks, guys.